The following podcast is taken from a live broadcast on Inspire FM.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. It's 10 o'clock, Monday, 10th of June, and you're listening to the Urban Cube with me, Shamiza, taking all the way up to 12 o'clock this morning across local surrounding areas and Peterborough and Sheffield this morning. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend. I always ask that question, and you're having a great start to the week. As always, it is a Monday, so this is a motivating show, hopefully to inspire and get you engaged with the creative stories and experiences of my guests this morning. Now, I'm joined by a local guest in the studio, inshallah, who's extraordinary in her passion for creative engagement. She has a science background, but is now exploring mentoring and inspiring women across the town through her organisation that she is one of the co-founders and the chairperson of, which is called Women Connecting Women. So we're going to be finding out who this fantastic woman is on the show very, very shortly. Now, as always, the Urban Cube is about connecting with listeners. So we'd love you to get involved with any of the conversations that we're having this morning. And the conversations will be about inner and outer beauty. Yep, inner and outer beauty. And the reason why I'm talking about this topic is because my guest in the studio this morning, who will be joining me very, very shortly, is a makeup artist, a professional makeup artist who is also very passionate about nutrition and well-being and has a science background too. She's a former she's worked in the biomedical field, so she's going to be giving some very interesting career advice and tips as well. So the question I'd like to ask you guys this morning is, what makes a person beautiful? What is it that makes a person beautiful? And if you have the answer, then please do share that with me on 07779 481822, on 07779 481822. On the show this morning, I'm also going to be catching up with Brother Tariq. Now, the reason why we're doing that, I seem to be doing that every session, every show, is because I want to find out what the Inspire FM Eid Fun Affair, the outcome of that was. Did you attend the Inspire FM Eid Fair? If you did, well, we want to hear from you. What did you think? Did you want, would you come back to the Inspire FM Eid Fun Fair if we had another one next year? And if so, why would you? Now, Brother Tariq would love, and the Inspire FM team would love to find out what your thoughts are on that, because there's a survey that will be that is digitally being sent around. We'd love to find your thoughts on the actual event, and if you went down, what made it a lovely family event for you. Please do share your thoughts. I had a great time. The reason why I had a great time, because I came back with change in my pocket. That's what it's all about. I was able to bring some money back home. It was it was the first time I've ever been to an event where I've been able to actually afford the rides with the children. So I was able to actually make sure that my children, that they had at least 4 or 5 rides that they could sit on. And we came back with change as well, which was great. So yes, Inspire FM did say they were going to make it affordable, and they did. And that's my experience, and it was an absolutely wonderful event. I got to meet so many people. Wonderful day to get together, and the weather was lovely as well. So it was a lovely day. But they're my words. I want to find out what you guys thought. If you enjoyed it, tell me why. Contact us on 07779 481822. Brother Tariq will be joining me very, very shortly to share the outcome of that event. I'll be quite interested to know how many people turned up and what people's thoughts were. So looking forward to that. Folks, the show is the Urban Cube. It's Monday, 10th of June. 4 minutes past 10. And on the show this morning, I'm joined by a local professional freelance makeup artist who's also worked in the NHS for the last 12 years. She is an exceptional mother, wife, creative. She is a former biomedical scientist, and presently she is working, as I've already mentioned, as a makeup artist, educator and mentor, and she's also the co-founder and currently the vice chairperson of Women Connecting Women. Now, Women Connecting Women, you may have heard about on the show. We've had some great guests, females across Luton, and from all walks of life, participating in this really interesting collective of women to inspire and to motivate them to engage, share their stories, and also enable the next generation of women or young girls aspirations, inshallah. So they're having an event that's happening on the 21st of June, the Friday 21st of June at I believe it's Crescent Hall, Luton, which it is, from 6:30 to 9 p.m. and the event is all about health, fitness and nutrition. So we'll be speaking to Khalida on why this event needs to be attended by the women across Luton and what we can expect from that. Now, folks, on today's question I'm asking on the show is quite linked to health, fitness, and nutrition or beauty, really. I'm asking you, what makes somebody beautiful? What is it that makes somebody beautiful? If you know what if you've got the answer to the golden question, contact us on 07779481822. And I'd also love to know where you're calling in from today or contacting us. I used to get a lot of WhatsApp messages, but they seem to be running dry, and I don't know why that is. Do get in contact. Tell me that you're listening, and would love to find out if you are. Now, the show is on Facebook Live as well. You can leave a comment on the Facebook page, Inspire FM Facebook. We're also repeating the show at 8 p.m. The app is available and also web too. Now, at the end of the show, we also have a podcast which is uploaded. So any of the conversation that has been missed, you get a chance to listen to it too. I've been looking at a lot of the press lately, and it's been very, very interesting after Ramadan, mashallah. And whilst Ramadan, the stories of Muslims and how they've entered the headlines, mashallah. And somebody that has really, really made the headlines is no other than Mo. Oh gosh. Hold on a minute. I've just lost my trail of thought then. Mo Salah. Mo Salah has really, really made his mark in the world of football, but also really made a difference when it comes to combating Islamophobia. Mashallah. I read somewhere that, he has actually helped reduce the amount of Islamophobic attacks in Liverpool single-handedly. That the fact through his work as a footballer with Liverpool playing, and it's been extraordinary to find out about that. Now, another article that I came across in the Metro was really quite intriguing, and it said that Muslims have to be as exceptional as Mo Salah not to be discriminated against. And this is quite an intriguing article, and this is something I'm going to be kind of talking to you guys and my guests as well in the studio this morning. Do you have to be an exceptional Muslim, not to be discriminated against? Now, when I talk about exceptional Muslims, it's mostly Muslims in the media. For example, Nadia Hussein. We've got Mo Salah. Those are two extraordinary talented individuals. You've got Riz Ahmed, another exceptional Muslim who's doing extraordinarily well in the acting world, and and they're quite exceptional, but they've been accepted by greater society nationally and internationally as well for the role that they play in their fields. So that's the question I'm asking as well on this morning's show. Do you have to be as exceptional as Mo Salah not to be discriminated against? So interesting point there. Folks, it is the Urban Cube. It's 9 minutes past 10, Monday, 10th of June, and you're listening to me, Shamiza, on the Urban Cube, taking you all the way up to 12 o'clock this morning. On the show this morning, I'm joined by a local creative who's making her mark internationally. I'm going to say internationally because she does have a grand following on social media for the exceptional creativity, a creativity that she's got magic in her hands, and it's not just the world of makeup. She's also somebody who's had 12 years of experience as a biomedical scientist as well, mashallah, in the NHS, and now she is doing extraordinarily well as an educator and a mentor. She's the co-founder and presently the chairperson of a very, very exciting and very much needed aspiring organisation called Women Connecting Women. Who am I talking about? It's no other than Khalida Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, Khalida.
Alaikum salam.
How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I know it's absolutely wonderful to have you, Khalida, and thank you so very much for joining me. How have you coped with Eid? Are you still, getting over all the festivity?
Yes, we're recovering still. Oh, sorry, there you go.
So recovering.
Yeah.
So what was Eid like?
It was amazing. It was nice. Family and food.
Oh, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
What more do you need? Family, food and fashion.
That's it.
And totally feasting.
100%.
Yeah?
Oh my goodness, yes.
It's all about the feasting.
100%.
But we're going to be talking beyond feasting and how to recover from feasting, because you have an exciting event happening with Women Connecting Women, which
Yes.
is all about health, fitness, nutrition
Yes.
and well-being.
Yes.
Something that you're quite passionate about, and we're going to be talking about very, very shortly. So looking forward to that. I want to ask you, you're somebody that is quite very well in tuned with fashion, makeup. As a celebrity makeup artist, you've had a very, very successful career in the media, cover of magazines, like videos, television, you name it, you've done it. You're up there doing it. So what I want to find out, the question I'm asking the listeners this morning is, what makes beauty? What is it that makes somebody beautiful?
I don't think it's just external, if I'm honest with you. I think it's all about bringing out your internal beauty. If you're confident, if you're happy, smiling, it's not just about your exterior, because someone could look totally beautiful on the outside, but if their inside doesn't match, all of a sudden that person to you might not look as beautiful as you first initially thought.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a bit of everything, but makeup is an amazing thing, I have to say. I love makeup. I live and breathe makeup. It's not a bad thing. It's all about enhancing what you have.
Yeah, and you know what, and you're good at it. And I think one thing that does stand out is enhancing what you have. It's not, there is this thing about overdoing it.
Yes.
But you say enhancing. So what does enhancing mean in your world of makeup?
Well, for me, I just look at someone's face and I kind of see the contours of their face, see what works for them, what doesn't work for them. I ask them what it is they like about their features, what they want to kind of maybe hide a little bit, if that's the right word. And then I kind of work knowing that, and then kind of put my vision in there, and I kind of create a look that I think is going to be perfect for them. And more often than not, when people come to me, they know what it is they're going to get. They know my style. It's all about enhancing. It's more of a natural feel more than a mask. There are, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of talented artists out there, but everyone has their own style.
Okay.
But I'd like to think I've put my style and my stamp in Luton and
in Luton, I think not just nationally, but globally as well, my dear. Folks, in the studio, I'm joined by no other than Khalida Ahmed, who is a very notable professional freelance makeup artist who has a very grand portfolio, from working on the covers of magazines and very well-known established magazines to television, from Catwalk and Bridal as well. And this is not an advertisement for her makeup, people, I promise you, because it's not just about makeup. makeup we're talking about internal beauty as well. And one thing that she's very passionate about is education and mentoring. 12 years in working in the NHS as a biomedical scientist, mashallah. I would never have known that. That's like a little secret you've hidden away. So, you know, when we think of makeup artists, we just automatically assume that, is it because they've got nothing else to do? But I'm noticing there's a lot of very, very smart, exceptionally bright women leading and paving the industry. Like, there's another local makeup artist who's actually a solicitor, but she decided to hang up the gown and the cape or the cap, whatever it's called, and pick up the makeup brushes. What made you decide to change this?
There was a lot of things, really. Yeah, there was a lot of things, really. But first and foremost, for me, I've always wanted to get into a career where I knew I would be helping in some way, so there would be some sort of reward from it. And when I was a biomedical scientist, I loved it. I specialised in haematology, so I think the department that I loved most, there's a few departments within that area, but I loved blood transfusion because I think as a one. Yeah, I do. I know that sounds crazy.
We have a vampire in the studio, people. Did you just say you like
I enjoyed it there because
just talking about it is making me like having goosebumps.
No, only because I know it's really weird, isn't it? You know, you wouldn't really put beauty and blood in the same sentence, would you? But no, I think it's more because in that area you're making the biggest impact on a patient's life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, a blood transfusion is life-saving, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
You know? So I just felt that was really, that impact and just being able to help someone. You know, I'm very passionate about it, as you can tell.
Yeah. Khalida, for viewers, I don't know if Facebook Live is on, you've just got quite emotional just talking about that. You've not even gone into detail, but it's really impacted you. So lives have been saved, I'm assuming, in your work.
It's been very rewarding.
Mashallah, mashallah. Folks, in the studio with me, I'm joined by an extraordinary guest, a local lady whose work I followed for many a year, and so alhamdulillah, it's an absolute pleasure to have her in the studio and sharing her passion of giving from working in the field of biomedical science in an area. How would you describe hemoglobin?
Hematology.
Yes. Hematology.
Yes.
And that is about blood transfusions and saving people's lives, to now educating and mentoring women to build on their aspiration as the co-chairperson and co-founder of the Women Connecting Women project, which we're going to be talking very, very shortly about. But Khalida, I'm going to come back to you and talk to you about the work that you've done as a biomedical scientist. You worked 12 years in the NHS, mashallah. Now you've talked about blood transfusions and blood donors in the Muslim community. Is there enough people coming forward? Because I know there's been call-outs, but there is a lack of blood donors from the South Asian community.
I do agree with you. You know, I don't think there's enough said about it, and obviously I'm not an expert in this field, by the way.
Nor am I.
You know, but I think there's a lot more that can be done. You know, like I think it's a big deal because if you think about it, it's a small gesture, really. Giving a pint of blood is a small gesture, but it can have the biggest impact on someone's life.
You know? And it can, and we take that for granted. We take that for granted. And I know that 2 years ago there was a call-out for blood donors from the South Asian community because of certain types of bloods that are quite unique blood groups, and which was really quite fascinating. And I know, like Luton Sixth Form College, they had an afternoon where the blood bank came and sort of, you know, spoke to the young people and introduced them to what this is. And a lot of misconceptions was the fact that young people felt like, oh my gosh, they're going to get ill because if they lose a pint of blood, how's that going to be replaced? Is it going to make them tired? Will it hurt?
Yes.
So what?
I think there just needs to be a bit more education.
Right.
To be fair, just educate the young, and not just the young, adults. Not everyone really knows what it's all about. Some people even don't think they're allowed to do it.
Of course, yeah.
But they are allowed to do it, you know?
When you say allowed, is that Islamically? Is there any prohibitions?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
You know, because for how I see it is anything that's going to help prolong someone's life, isn't that a good thing?
Yes, mashallah.
You know? You know, in my mind anyway, you know, like I'm not, you know, religiously, you know, I'm not, again, an expert on that topic.
Of course.
But I do feel if someone's not well, if we can help someone, if someone's got cancer, needs a blood transfusion, it's going to save their lives. What's wrong, really, with being able to help? You know, all you have to do is test yourself, see if you're compatible. It's not hard. It really isn't. It's just it's an amazing gift to give. It really is.
Now, we do have, from what I gather, I don't know exactly where the location is, but I know that Central Luton Library, just around the corner from there, there's there's signs about blood donors. Is that just an advert, or is that where the
I actually don't know. I'm going to be honest with you, because obviously I've kind of left the biomedical scientist.
12 years ago.
Yes, it's a long time ago now.
Wow.
Over a decade ago, I left it.
Wow.
And what actually you were asking me, one of the reasons I sadly had to leave, and it's not really sad. I feel there's things happen at certain moments in your life that are meant to happen. You have a natural progression in life. That was something I could do because I was more of a spinster. I was able to do night shifts. I was like literally the queen of on call. And then things evolved. You know, I got married. I had young ones, and it was like you can't really do on call and be there as a mum at the same time. It's just. You can't be Superwoman. And I was for a while, I'm not going to lie. For the first year of my firstborn's life, I was a Superwoman. I was doing it all. Yeah. Second one came and it was like, I don't think I can do this now. And, you know, I reluctantly had to leave. I say reluctantly, I had other things in the pipeline. It was a question of juggling it all and seeing what I could do with my time. And
you've been quite honest about saying that, you know, what it became a little bit difficult, because I feel that there's a lot of pressure on, say, professional. You called yourself a spinster, as in like you weren't married.
I was at the time.
You weren't married then. You weren't married, but mashallah, you're married now. You've got two gorgeous little girls and a very supportive husband, mashallah.
Very.
And
can I shout out to my husband?
Of course you can.
Mabs, I'm shouting you out. He's my number one supporter, and really, I think if I didn't have that support from loved ones, you know, it would be harder to have been able to accomplish the things that I've accomplished. So, big shout out.
No, thank you for doing that. And I think it's such a pleasure when we hear, you know, husbands and wives shouting out and sharing their, you know, passion for their work, but also embracing the fact that, you know, working as a couple is teamwork.
100%.
And without support of your husband or your wife, then 100%. Things don't go as collectively as well as you'd like it to go.
It's true. It is teamwork. It's compromise. It's, you know, communication more than compromise, I think, because everything's ever evolving. It's you know, your life evolves. You're a teenager, and you know you do teenage things. You grow up. You're in your 20s. You do things in your 20s. You grow up. You're in your 30s, in your 40s. You know, you have little chapters in your life that mold you.
Yes.
You know. So I feel like that was that chapter. I'm now in another chapter, and I'm going to be going into another chapter. And I want to see if I can amalgamate a few things, you know, and help people. You know, it's very important to help people. I feel like I reached what I wanted to, and now it's about continuing to do that, continuing to, you know, enjoy what you passionately, you know, do. You know. Yeah. But at the same time, be able to help people. I had that little transition into makeup, as you were saying, and then all of a sudden it was like, wow, boom! Like I did not expect the level of success, alhamdulillah, that I got, and you know, and I had goals to achieve in my head. I was like, right, this is next, that's next.
So you had a plan,
I did.
and you stuck to that plan.
I did.
And it's really interesting because you're quite you're a strategic thinker. And is that because of your scientific background? Maybe because everything is quite logic and
methodical.
Methodical, that's the word. Yeah. Methodical. Has that helped?
I think I had to. Yes, I think you have to be. You have to be organized. I'm not. I can't even admit to this. I'm not the most organized of people, but you have to be. You have to become organized.
Right.
You have to plan. You have to give yourself deadlines. That's the important thing. Deadlines. If you can work to a deadline, you know you can accomplish it.
Fantastic.
If you don't give yourself a deadline, you can go for years and say, yeah, I'll do it.
So these skills, were they taught to you by your family, or did you learn them as you? Because you've talked about chapters. Each stage you had to learn about yourself.
Yeah.
And we change, don't we? We never stay the same. And even in a marriage, each decade brings out a different person.
Yes.
And this is where we need to be very honest with ourselves and our husbands.
Yes.
That this is this is what you're going to have to expect.
Yeah.
And I think that should be part of like a talk before the nikah.
Yes. Yes.
Now we're heading over to a break, folks. I'm still going to be joined with Khalida. We're having some great conversations about life, organising, marriage, chapters. It's all happening. Internal, external beauty, and so much more. We're also going to be catching up with Brother Tariq to find out about the Inspire Femme Eid event. Did you go, Khalida? Did you get a chance to go?
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Did you hear about it?
I did hear a lot about it. I had friends that I know that were part of it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good event.
Brilliant. And we're going to find out how good the event was from Brother Tariq after the break. We're heading over to a break, folks. After the break, do join us for some more creative conversations on the Urban Cube with myself and the very fabulous Khalida, who's in the studio right now. So join me straight after this. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is your brother Maher Zain. For my latest news and updates, join me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. Salam.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum. It's 10:30 and Monday 10th of June and you're listening to Shamiza taking you all the way up to 12 o'clock on where else? Inspire FM, of course. The Urban Cube is the show that you are catching right now. It's a show that celebrates creativity and inspiring conversations with creatives across Luton and nationally as well. Now, I have the great pleasure of speaking to a local creative from the heart of Luton Town in the studio this morning. She is an extraordinary woman with so many different interests and passions and jobs. I'm going to say lots of jobs as well. So the lady I'm speaking about is no other than Khalida Ahmed. Khalida worked for 12 years as a biomedical scientist in the NHS. She then moved on to develop her passion for makeup artistry, and she's no ordinary makeup artist. She's, mashallah, has an exceptional portfolio as being one of the leading professional freelance makeup artists, I'm going to say, because I've followed your career, Khalida, from working in the mainstream bridal magazines to television, and not just working with South Asian clientele and brides, but also sort of Western and non-Asian as well too. So her work has kind of transcended from not just looking at external beauty, but also internal. And she's now focusing on education and mentoring, and her passion has now taken her towards working as the co-founder and chairperson at the moment for Women Connecting Women.
I'm the vice chairperson.
Yes. I've got to get it right, haven't I? I've got to get that right. But we'll work you up there. We'll work you up there. Khalida is in the studio, and we're going to be talking to her about so many things. It's been such an extraordinary conversation that I've had with you earlier on, and just listening to you has been so inspiring. Thank you so much, Khalida.
No, thank you so much. You're so kind, and that was an amazing introduction. I don't feel worthy. Thank you really so much. Honestly, I'm blushing. If anyone could see me now.
Oh, bless you. But it doesn't stop there, because you're also somebody who's passionate about property development as well. And it seems that there is nothing that you haven't, you're engaged with, involved with. And this is something that I'm quite intrigued to find out about, because women and property development and investment seems to be a growing thing now. And we're seeing a lot more South Asian women taking the lead in this area. So from makeup brushes to property development, where did that come from?
Do you know what? I think I'd say we were accidental landlords, my husband and I. We lived in London for a short while when we were newly married. And I think that's when we realised that property is a really good way of not just helping yourselves financially, but being able to help others get on to the property ladder, And like I was saying, with everything, I always want to be able to help. So we realised that was a perfect way, why can't you have a passion and help at the same time, and feel a reward? And that's really what it was from. We moved out of London and we let out our property and realised that actually this is a really good way of investing for your future and being able to help other people as well. We had a young couple then move into our apartment, and they were struggling to get onto the property ladder, and they had no choice but to rent. And that, that is pretty much the story of everyone's life at the moment.
It is, and it's quite concerning, because you're a mother with two gorgeous daughters, mashallah, and does it concern you that will your children be able to get onto the property ladder? Now, you're already, obviously, what you have, you will hand on to your children. So, alhamdulillah, there's a security there. But there's going to be lots of parents who are going to be concerned about whether their children are able to have that privilege. Because back in the day, good 20 years ago, you could be 21, graduate, get a job, put an installment down for a deposit, and get your feet on the property ladder.
Yeah. I mean, the average person, they say, statistically speaking, you're not until you're in your 30s before you can afford your own home these days. That's how expensive it is now, and how difficult it is. A lot of people do rent before they can get to that,
And that's a lot of money that you're splashing out in renting, because a lot of mortgages are, the installments per month are less than rent, and rent seems to be extortionate in certain parts of the country.
Actually, I hear what you're saying there, but actually it's a lot more to fork out for stamp duty and to buy a house and a deposit. Actually, it's cheaper in the long term to rent. We even considered it, before, we bought ours. It's actually a lot cheaper, because I'll tell you why. You're most people that rent, they're working. And so then, they have a small portion of their wage that goes on their accommodation. However, if they were looking to buy a property, they would have to save and save and save to get a large chunk to be able to make that mortgage a little less, because you put down part. Obviously, you know how it works. You put down a small deposit, and then the remaining is a mortgage, and you're paying that every month. And in order to just have your own property, have a space that you really enjoy, this is why people rent, because they'd rather, where else are they going to live otherwise? You're either living with your parents or living with family, or you have your own space.
And a lot of young people, there is now articles that I've read saying that, people are living with their parents up until the age of 40 because they can't afford.
There are some. I've read those articles too.
Which is quite surprising. But this is the way of the world at the moment, and unfortunately, affordability.
It's true. And actually, having said that, there's a lot of countries. It is. They rent, they live in apartments, and that's the thing. Flats, they can't see themselves in a house. They've always, lived in an apartment and paid rent, and that's how they've lived, and that's what they know, and that's what they enjoy.
Okay.
And why, if that's what they want, there's always something for everyone, So, I think, with that in mind, thank you. With that in mind, why not help those that want to do it that way,
Now, normally landlords have a bit of a, they're not.
There's been a bit of negative press.
Yes. I'll let you say that. And there has been some rule changes in the law for landlords. And what has that change meant for tenants and for landlords?
Well,
is there enough protection for tenants and landlords? Because
I think it's becoming fairer for everyone.
Okay.
I think when it comes to this, there should be a win-win for everyone. As it should all be ethically done. I can't talk for other people. I can only really talk for myself. For me, ethics is up there.
Okay.
You need to do things in the right way. Feel that you're actually helping, that you're doing a good thing, and just feel that you can sleep well at night.
So what is it that what is ethical as a landlord?
To make it affordable.
Okay.
To make it affordable. Don't,
add an extra 100, 200.
Yeah, unfairly.
Okay.
Don't think of it as a money-making scheme. Think about it as okay, fair enough.
But that's what landlords, this is one of the reasons why landlords do what they're doing, because it's about quick, easy money.
But you've got to think about the other side as well. What are you providing for this family? We've got tenants, actually, bless them. They actually want to, how I see it, when I have someone, a tenant, I want them to feel like this is their home.
Okay.
Don't worry about me. This is your home. You look after it the way you would your own home, the way I would want to live.
And that's
in
very
home.
trusting, because the stories that I hear of the damage that's done to certain properties and the upkeep.
Yeah, it's a two-way thing. You've got to have that understanding, and I think you have to vet the people as well that come into your property. And we've been lucky in that we've had the chance to actually talk to our tenants, before they move in, just to know that we're in synergy with each other. We know what they want, they know what we want, and we have a mutual understanding. And the way that we do our houses, we do it really nicely. So we
what's
want
a
them to feel.
for you for a tenant coming in? Are they allowed to paint the walls like magenta?
No, within reason, they can do whatever.
Wow.
To be, because at the end of the day, it's their home. I don't want to. Okay, don't damage the place, but keep it as you would, as a nice space as possible. And I'm happy with that. Just make sure it's not damaged. Just clean up after yourself. Things like that. We'll every year make sure there's maintenance that happens so that it's a really nice space for them to live in.
Yeah.
If there's anything that needs repairing, we'll get onto that as soon as possible. That's our responsibility.
Talking about houses and accommodation and safety, it brings me sadly to a story that I saw on social media about Barking, the flats in Barking. There was a humongous fire that ripped through 3 floors. Alhamdulillah, no casualties. Alhamdulillah. But I don't know if you saw that on social media. The fire was blazing.
I saw something this morning.
And this was greedy developers not putting the right fire safety standards in the property. And once again, we've seen another flat in across London. Grenfell. Our thoughts are still with Grenfell. We still haven't. People are still coming to terms with that. It's a year on since the Grenfell fires, and du'as and prayers for the lives that I've lost and the families who are still grieving, but no positive outcome really from that, unfortunately.
I can't speak for them, and it's really sad. And this is my thing about ethics. When you're going to do something, do it ethically.
Of course.
Don't just be greedy, as you said. It's not about, for me, I can't do that. I know I'm not a person that can do that. It's for me it's all about being able to help the other person, and for them to, a mutual understanding. There's so many people that need homes. There's a shortage of homes. If we as landlords can help those people get into a home, we're doing a good thing for the community.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, affordability is definitely something that is being felt across the country, and austerity is really impacting people's lives. And this is where I'm going to go over to Brother Tariq, who's in the studio now. Affordability was the campaign that Inspire FM linked very, very nicely to the project of the Inspire FM Fun Fair for Eid. And the whole purpose of this fair was to make sure that families could afford Eid. Brother Tariq?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Now, wow. It's over, the fun fair.
It is.
How are you feeling?
Tired, exhausted, to be honest. I haven't actually kind of recuperated as well as I thought. I'm not sure if you guys are feeling this due to doing the Sehri show during Ramadan and then the Rise and Shine show. My body's kind of still adapting to going to sleep at night. I wake up at odd hours thinking my body should be awake. And Ramadan was, to be honest, I didn't know from day to night. It was just literally like a 24-hour shift kind of thing.
You were slept in one of the studios.
I did.
There were children that came in who just wanted to see, where does Brother Tariq stay? That's where he stayed. It was like a rabbit hutch.
It was difficult. It was a long month. But it's not like it went by so quick, to be honest. But it was difficult. It was long. But alhamdulillah, going again this year, it was even more difficult for the planning of Inspire Eid. The concept itself literally came from a conversation, to be honest, in February, where we were speaking to a sister, and she was saying she was a social worker who said we would love to do Eid gifts for children who are in care, and this is something that I'd love to do. Is this something that Inspire FM can support with? And I said, well, of course. And we then the conversation went further to say there's a number of people out there, families out there, who are struggling to such an extent where on the day of Eid they would prefer to send their children to school because they don't have the finances to give them a good time on Eid. And I thought that's horrendous out there. If someone has to send their children to school on the day of Eid, when the schools themselves give you a day off just because they think they'll probably have more fun at school, I said something's not quite right about that, and if there's something we can do about it. And then we started talking about doing some sort of event on the day of Eid. Inspire FM traditionally used to do the Eid festival, which was the weekend of following Eid in Dunstable Downs, and we've been doing that for about maybe 6-7 years. And alhamdulillah, it was a very, very popular event, but again, it wasn't on the day of Eid. That was when families wanted to celebrate. That was when families wanted to, because Eid is on the day of Eid. You can do 10 events on the weekend.
So this is quite an ambitious project.
It was.
Actually do it on Eid, not knowing whether people are going to turn up or not.
It was a very it was different, to be honest. And the biggest problem I hadn't really organised anything on Eid before, and so it was a situation where whenever I was making a booking, I was saying to people, we want this booked for the day of Eid, and they were saying, well, fine, when do you want to do the booking? And I was saying, well, it could possibly be Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. And they were like, okay, but how can? And then the other problem was because we were trying to cater for a 2-day event, to cater for if there was Eid was going to be on 2 different days. I was saying it's either going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday. So they were saying, well, you need to tell us which day, because we can't book staff for 3 days. Just on and when do you decide? I decide Monday about 7 o'clock in the evening for them to decide whether they're going ahead on Tuesday or not. So it was one of those things where, to be honest, organising things in this manner was extremely difficult, something completely new to myself.
But you did it.
But we did.
And the turnout, tell us what that was like for you.
It was phenomenal. It was absolutely amazing. The first day, unfortunately, we had a bit of rain from the onset, from about 12 till about 4 o'clock. When it cleared up after 4, it was completely packed until we were supposed to close at 8. The Funfair Rise didn't actually officially close till I think just after 8:30, because they were saying there were so many people waiting on queues and stuff, and they didn't want to send them away. It was completely packed. The second day, alhamdulillah, absolutely beautiful day. The weather was amazing, and we've had various different numbers from various different. So we asked the food stall holders, what do you think the numbers were like, the Funfair rides, and a combined effort, we're coming to the round about the kind of a number of 15,000, saying there was around about 15,000 people over the 2 days.
15,000 people.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
That's a lot of people living in Luton.
That is a lot of people, and to be honest, I think that the project itself has got a lot of scope to be a lot bigger.
Okay,
and to be honest, one thing that I was thinking, and again, I'm sure you might have read the article which we've posted over the weekend, around 15,000 smiles. And you think to yourself, and again, I was having a conversation with yourself off air prior to the show about children who are actually getting Eid money, for example, of £5, maybe £10. Now that £10 could potentially be enough for you to go on 10 different rides, because every single ride was £1 each, and children were absolutely loving it. So again, Funfair Rides were saying majority of the children weren't coming on the ride once, they were coming on the same rides if they liked it 2 or 3 times, in fact, because they could afford to do so.
See, I came home with change in my pocket, so that was great.
When's the last time that's happened?
That never happens.
Exactly. So to be honest, it's literally a situation where to think Eid is supposed to be fun. Eid is supposed to be about children. It's meant to be about families, and it's about people smiling. And
so did you meet that target then? So have you met the target? The target was to make sure every child should smile on Eid. Has that been accomplished?
I think so. For every child that attended the event, they did smile, and I'm sure they left with a smile. And I think one of the key things, I think it was actually yourself who actually mentioned this a few weeks back when we actually spoke, and that word has just stuck in my mind. I'm thinking to myself, when you said Eid is a pressure for many families, and you think to yourself, subhanallah, there's many words you would like to relate regarding Eid, of happiness and family and all sorts of things. Pressure shouldn't be one of them, and unfortunately, if it is, then there needs to be something that we need to do about this. And I think, alhamdulillah,
I saw a social media post by there's somebody from Birmingham who posted something. He sent a greeting to his followers, and he said that, you know what, Eid is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a gift. And I just found that such an exceptional thing, the fact that he's described it as being a gift, and it is a gift.
Of course.
And we should treat it as a gift, but then having gift and pressure are two words that should not go together.
Exactly. And to be honest, there are families out there who, unfortunately, like you said, will find Eid just an additional pressure. Just as generally you would think birthdays, for example, may be a pressure for many families. Other celebrations are a pressure because you've got to think about the clothes, think about the food, and all sorts of things, and inviting guests and stuff. And if Eid is a situation where you're thinking buying clothes for the children and the food and stuff is a pressure enough, but then them wanting to go to a fun fair, because obviously if they've heard about it, their children, they want to go.
And that's a tradition now, it seems, that kids want to. That's one thing that they look forward to.
Exactly. So to be honest, if we're able to take that pressure off those families, and they're able to come and enjoy themselves, and majority of the families, like you said, can literally come down with £10. Even if they've got a couple of children, they can still go on 2-3 rides each and still go home with some change. And to be honest, if every family is left smiling on the day of Eid because they don't have that financial pressure, then alhamdulillah, I think it was definitely successful in the sense as well. When we were at over 15,000 people, and every single person I spoke to have literally said, you know what, this is a long time coming. Luton needed this, and this is amazing for the community.
Mashallah.
So inshallah,
So
I hope and
next?
pray it'll get.
What are you now inviting listeners to do? Those people that attended the event, how can they support the next Inspire FM Eid event if there's to be one?
Yeah, there's two things initially. Firstly, is obviously it was our first event, so it was many lessons to be learnt from the event itself. One thing we're asking the listeners is, from a user's perspective, give us your thoughts as to how the event went. We've actually got a survey out there. It's on Facebook, it's on the various different social media, it's on our website as well, on the article. So give us your feedback. I think that's very important. If there's anything that you felt during the event itself, what went well, what could we do better for next time, let us know your thoughts so we can actually address those issues. And secondly, we are hoping, inshallah, to do, of course, a similar event for the Big Eid. And hopefully, if you can get involved in that, of course, one thing, of course, we have had for all the various different people that are involved, they're all volunteers. So if you can get involved in any way, if the volunteers can get involved in any way, if you like to volunteer, maybe you've seen something you thought, you know what, so I think one of the issues mentioned was, for example, parking, for example. They're saying parking could have been better arranged, for example, signage could have been better done, and we could have also had we did actually have a security guard at the parking facility who was trying to guide us, but maybe he should have been at the entrance rather than at the back of the car park.
More volunteers will be greatly appreciated.
Volunteers, but also professionals. So if you're somebody who runs a security firm who actually has professional parking attendants, who actually professional cleaners, for example, if you're a cleaning company, for example, if you could spare a few people for a couple of hours, again, any sort of those things, because the whole event itself is purely for the community. And again, we're hoping to get some analytics out and maybe about closer to the end of the week, which will clearly show that 15,000 people attending, the event itself costing completely zero. There was no expense to the event because it was met by sponsors, and on top of that, and on top of having 15,000 smiles, we were still able to raise, I think it was close to £5,000.
Oh, mashallah.
For crisis aid as well. So
amazing.
I think overall the project itself has many pluses, many benefits, but I think there's always room for improvement, and inshallah, as we go on year, we'll try to make it bigger and better for people, inshallah.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much, Brother Tariq, for sharing us with the update of the fantastic Eid Inspire Fun Fair, which was held at Lucy Park. And inshallah, I'm sure the listeners look forward to reading the analytics. That sounded very, very professional. Yep. What does analytics mean exactly?
It's just a bunch of numbers.
Numbers, all about the numbers. Right, on that note, guys, it's 10:51 in the studio, joined by the very fabulous Khalida Ahmed, saying a massive big assalamu alaikum to Brother Tariq. Do remember to tune into his show, which is every morning. It's the Rise and Shine show. What time is it again?
7 to 9.
7 to 9 every morning. It's a great show for people, but mine's better. It is. I would say that, wouldn't I? Thank you so very much, Brother Tariq. Folks in the studio, still joined by the very fantastic Khalida Ahmed. We're going to be talking about the Women Connecting Women event, which will be happening on the 21st of June at Crescent Hall. And this event is a celebration of women coming together, but also engaging with health and fitness, nutrition and well-being, but with professional speakers and an opportunity to network as well. Khalida will be talking to us exactly what this event is about and finding out what you can expect there, because I think it starts at 6:30. You've got to register.
That's right.
I know this by the top of my head. I'm so good. Finishes around 9 o'clock, the event.
Yes. So it might be a bit later than that. Last time it did overrun. So, it's absolutely fine. The ladies can let their hair down. It's a ladies-only event.
Mashallah. Okay.
And we just want to be able to help ladies in the community. We're running seminars and we're having guest speakers come in and talk about different subjects. And this subject on the 21st of June will be related to health and fitness and nutrition.
Fantastic.
So we're going to have Leanne Crisp of LC Fitness do a seminar, and we're going to have her partner. They have another company. Her name is Pauline. Okay, I can't remember her surname. I'm going to tell you now.
It's a wonderful Polish-sounding surname, and I'll let you say it because I don't want to get it incorrect.
I don't want to either. Zalowska?
That
Zalowska, yes. Paulina Zalowska. And they're going to be giving us a talk on health and fitness and nutrition, which I'm really excited about. It's not just going to be a sit down, you listen, and that's it. They're going to make it quite interactive.
Ooh.
So it's always fun. So, I'm really looking forward to it.
It always is fun.
Always.
You ladies, you know how to roll these events, mashallah. And we're going to find out a little bit more after the break about how folks can get in touch, because I know there is a page that you can connect with.
There is. On Instagram, it's at WCW Luton. On Facebook, it's Women Connecting Women.
Fantastic. And we're going to find out what the ethos behind Women Connecting Women is about. And I just think that it's very greatly needed, and more and more, the better, really.
100%. Any way to get women out there to connect with each other. There's a lot of women in the community that don't get a chance to do that. And to have a platform like this to say, come, let your hair down, enjoy, learn, network.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing.
Keywords: learn and network and enjoy.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. And is there food?
Yes, there are food stalls. There's lots of stalls, in fact. So we've got quite a few people that will be there. So you can bring your purses with you. There are a few stalls.
I like that.
Lots
Bring
of
your
food,
purse.
Yes. Lots of food. Yummy food. Oh, my goodness. Yummy food. Yeah. And then we're going to have entertainment, Bollywood entertainment there as well.
And by the wonderful Dusna, who does a lot of healthy performance activities that kind of really, really make you move, and is good for fitness too. So she'll be joining. Heading off to a break, folks. We're going to find out more about this really exciting event led by Women Connecting Women straight after the break. And Khalida's going to tell us a little bit more. So join me straight after this. Assalamu alaikum.
You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programs from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamaisa.
Good morning, and assalamu alaikum. 11 o'clock, Monday, 10th of June, and this is the Urban Queue with me, Shamaisa, taking all the way up to 12 o'clock. Luton surrounding areas and across over to Peterborough and Sheffield this morning. Peterborough, Salam Radio and Sheffield Link FM, and massive big salams to all of you listening in from there. And a belated Eid Mubarak to you as well. How are you recovering from all the Eid celebrations? Did you have festivities in the home, or did you go to a fun fair on Eid? Well, Luton was out and about. There's 15,000 people exactly came out to the Eid fun fair that was held across 2 days in Luton. A wonderful, wonderful fun fair activities laid out for the community of Luton. But the whole purpose of that was to make sure that no child went away without smiling. And alhamdulillah, on Eid day, we managed to get 15,000 smiles. How awesome is that? Sounds like a real record-breaking number, but I'm so pleased to hear from the Inspire FM team that they received really, really good response. And mashallah, a great event. Well done, Inspire FM, and well done to the community, because mashallah, £2,000 was raised so that 2,000 children would be able to access free rides. How cool is that? How cool. But there is a survey that needs to be filled out, people, to kind of get your thoughts on the event, to make sure that we improve and make it bigger and better. And we continue to provide this service to the community of Luton. And the survey will be accessible, I think, on the Facebook page, or you can contact Inspire FM to find out how you can get involved. In the studio, guys, somebody that helps so many people smile, especially brides on their special day, is no other than professional freelance makeup artist extraordinaire Khalida Ahmed, who's in the studio with me. Assalamu alaikum, Khalida.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you so very much for staying with me. And we were listening into Brother Tariq, and he was sharing with us this wonderful, wonderful event that happened on the Tuesday and Wednesday of Eid in Luton at Lucy Park. 15,000 people in attendance.
I think that's amazing. That's an amazing turnout, isn't it?
Wow, yes. I didn't know we had that many people in the town. Obviously we do. But making children smile is a beautiful thing, right?
100%. 100%. I've got 2 little girls, and I know, like, we already made plans, so we didn't know in enough time, but I think next Eid will be definitely popping along.
Fantastic.
You know, the next event will be popping along. They love stuff like that. They love fun fairs. They love candy floss. You name it, you know.
Everything
Kids,
and anything.
They love
So do adults. We all love that
true,
as well.
actually, yes.
Now, Eid is a time, it's not just about food, festivities. It's also about fashion and the latest looks in makeup and clothes. And like, you're somebody who doesn't shy away from that. So what were the key looks across this Eid that people were kind of going for?
I don't know. Do you know what? Everyone has their own, style. So, like for me, I love timeless looks. Okay. You have the trends, but I do love the timeless look. Everyone did their own thing. I think everyone looked amazing.
So, what is a timeless look?
Something that when you look back in 10 or 20 years, you're going to be like, wow, I look good. Not things like, you have certain trends, like eyebrows were a thing in the 90s where they were really pencil thin. When you look back now, you'll be like, oh, what was I thinking?
I know, I've done that. My children have looked at it, it's like, what is going on with your face, mother?
And you might even now, and the trend now is big eyebrows. Yeah. You might look back, back in years to come and think, what was I thinking?
So what's the next trend with eyebrows then? Because what is going on with the eyebrow thing?
Yeah, I think for me to keep them natural but groomed, that's my personal style. Like I try not to get too trendy, if that makes sense. I hone in and I specialise more in the Asian bridal scene. Okay. So for me, it's all about timeless. You want to look back at your wedding pictures and think, wow, I looked good. And if I was dressed like that today, I'd still look good, and not think, oh, what was I thinking by doing this? I
think the level of standards of makeup is exceptional, but I do find that the brides look more masked than defined.
In some cases, yes. I'm going to be honest with you. Everyone has their own style. Some people do want to look really different on their day.
And is that still a trend? Is that like really, really heavy, very, very visible from the back of the hall that you can still see the bride?
It actually is.
Wow.
It actually is. It's not something that I personally promote, if I'm honest with you. And I think artists that do that, they are very talented and they're amazing at what they do. And there are clients that love that. But I think my clients, I have a different style. It's all about just enhancing what you have. Right. Obviously, you have to have a level of makeup so that it looks good on camera, on film, But you need to look as you're dressed as a bride, because these days guests come really done up, so you do have to...
Gosh, you have to up your game a little bit, because your guests are over, outdoing the bride. And how does a bride compete with that?
I think you'll always look different as the bride. bride. You know, you'll have your dupatta on your hair.
So we
you
know
have the
that that's the
scarf,
bride.
You have certain jewelry that your guests aren't going to have. So you will stand out as the Asian bride in an Asian wedding.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's all about enhancing, creating a look where you can tell it's still that person.
Okay.
You know, she still looks like herself. You know, she doesn't look like a completely different person. There was a guy, I'm going to tell you a story. This bride, she was up north, so she had someone else up north do her, you know, and then she had her walima, you know, the groom's side reception that they have, and that was down south near Luton. And the groom was in the room because they'd married now and they're just having the after party, if you like, a week later. And the groom literally said, he's like, on the wedding day, it was too much. I didn't recognise her. I was scared to touch her.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, oh, my goodness. Like, I was like, should you be saying this in front of the bride?
Yeah.
But they had that understanding. So, I don't think she was offended by it. And she was like, you know, whatever he wants. You know, like, she was very laid back, bless her. And, like, he would keep coming. Like, getting her ready. He'd keep coming in and out and just saying, oh, a bit less, a bit less.
Oh, wow.
Bless him. And I said, look, you know, just let me do my thing. Let me finish it, because makeup always looks odd when you're halfway done.
Yes.
I don't know if you must, you know, it doesn't look right when you're halfway done because there's steps. So anyway, I said to him, look, you know, it's going to look funny at this point. Wait until I'm done, then just tell me and I can tweak it if that's okay. So I was done, and he came back, and he just, you know, I felt a sense of achievement because he just looked, he nodded, and he was like, approval. He smiled, yeah. You look like yourself. And I was like,
That is
yes.
so nice.
And I feel sometimes it's actually more of a compliment when a guy says...
Because that's his wife.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
He wants to be able to recognise her.
And I feel sometimes, not always, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I do, I think...
Of course.
I think men have a really good eye for these things, you know? You know, and I think with women, in some cases, not all, it's all about trying to outdo, and it shouldn't be about trying to outdo. It should be about yourself.
Right.
Be the best that you can be.
But
know?
it's about confidence as well.
100%.
And internal. And this is the question that I'm asking.
Good, you feel good.
So, folks, the question on today's show is, which naturally gravitates to my wonderful guest, Khalida, in the field of work that she is involved in. She's a professional freelance makeup artist. She's an educator, mentor, and also the vice chair of Women Connecting Women. And we're going to be talking about more in depth about this event that's happening on the 21st of June at Crescent Hall. And this event is about health, well-being, nutrition, networking and fun, which is on a Friday, and registration time is 6:30 and it will finish at 9, but I think more than likely it'll go over 9. The question I'm asking on today's show is, what makes somebody beautiful? What is it that makes somebody beautiful? Would love you to get involved with the conversation. If you've got any makeup advice or tips for Khalida, I'm sure she'll be able to answer them. She is a...
Do you have people calling in?
Well, WhatsApping. So we'll get WhatsApp.
Okay.
07779481822, because wedding season is round the corner. We have lots of weddings happening in the summer, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of people kind of wanting to get some advice, and also I'd like to know what to just casual day wear makeup.
I've done your makeup before, haven't I?
Yes, you have
a couple of times.
And do you know what? And I have loved it. And I think I have a strange face. If you put too much, I look quite and so I really like how subtle, but you accentuated my features, which was lovely. But that was a while back.
It was a while back. I remember it was for Luton Fashion Week.
Yes,
you were
it was.
presenting.
Yes, I was.
I remember.
That was a long time ago.
It was a good few years ago.
But this is how we've connected.
Yeah.
Events like Luton Fashion Week enabled us to connect, and you're quite predominant in the fashion world as a makeup artist on sort of like...
Yeah, I've done a lot of campaigns. I've done a lot of behind the scenes, catwalks, magazines, promos.
And were you trained, or is this natural talent?
I'm going to be honest with you. From the beginning, I was self-taught. You know, I had an eye for these. I was quite creative. I loved art, so I had an eye for these things. And you know what? I used to practice a lot on myself as a teenager. I loved makeup. We loved getting creative, and it started from that really. So I was initially self-taught, and as you do, you always have to progress. So I have been learning from different people that I admire. Yeah.
Wow,
So, yeah.
and it is that practice. But do you think the makeup world? I'm going to be quite controversial here.
Go for it.
Has really taken over. Now, I was talking to my daughter this morning in the car, and she said that, you know what, Mummy, the makeup wars, makeup artists, it's crazy.
There are a lot of makeup artists out there. I have to say, yes, you could argue that it's saturated, but you know what? Everyone has their own style. You know? Everyone has their own style, and it's really down to what you like and what you don't like as to who you go with, you know? Just have a look at their work and decide if it's you, you know?
Right.
But it's very important, really, I think, is to get an idea of what they do naturally, not just in, you know, like you have Instagram, social media.
Right.
Okay, you might have nice images, but sometimes just to be able to see what that person's done in real life
Yeah. That's the
is
difference,
a little
isn't
bit
it?
more confidence for you when you go into book.
Because makeup artists, they also do they add a filter when they put the picture up?
Some do, yes.
That's naughty.
But you know, that's what Instagram is.
Okay.
You know, that is Instagram for you. I don't know what to say. That
So,
is, you know,
so you've got the makeup anyway that's heavy, and then you have to add a filter on top of that.
Some people do that, sadly.
Okay.
Some people do that. This is why I love the way. I try not to do that. Where I can, I try to show what that natural person is looking like. You know,
Right.
I don't want them to look plasticky. I don't want them
Okay.
to look overly made. You know, like
Wow.
when I did your makeup, you still looked like you, didn't you?
I hope so.
You still look like
Yes,
you.
I did.
You just looked. I just thought you looked gorgeous. You really did, honestly. Mashallah, you looked gorgeous.
Okay.
I was like,
this
yes.
isn't a plug for me, is
No,
it?
no,
Like, can we
no,
just
you
like
do-
switch the mic off now? I don't think anybody wants to hear about that. But somebody who is listening in is is wonderful Masi Masala.
Oh yeah, hello, Syra. How are you, my lovely?
No, she just says salam, walaikum salam. Just want to say.
She's a committee member, by the way.
Is she?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Salam, just want to say enjoying the chat. Love from Masi Masala. Thank you so very much for listening in and tuning into the show. And I've always had great pleasure of having Syra joining the show, mashallah, in the past as well. And so she'll be somebody that's going to be at the Women Connecting Women event.
Yeah, she'll be there. Her sister, hopefully, Anisa Kiani, will be there. She's a committee member. We have loads of committee members, to be fair, and we've all come together as a collective to make this happen. You know, we've come as a collective.
Why
to make
did
this
you want to
happen.
make it happen? And why are the committee members so widespread?
They're all amazing women in their own right. They stand alone really well, and we really wanted strong women and really good figures to be part of this. They all have something different to bring to the table. We're all diverse in our own ways. And it's amazing. Like we've got, you know, I don't want anyone to be upset if I miss anyone out, but we've got the likes of, like you said, Syra, she's amazing. She's really amazing on social media. She's a food blogger. She's very entertainment.
Very well connected with the voices that are kind of not heard, who've approached her.
Yeah, and she's
connected through food.
Been there. She's had life experiences. She's able to, I suppose, give advice because she's been through it, done that. Nice is amazing. She's actually the founder of Luton Fashion Week, as you know. She's a teacher.
An award-winning international fashion designer with her own fashion boutique, as well as senior management and senior leadership in further education college.
Then we've got Lobia or Lubna, and she's amazing in her own right. Empowering education. She does quite a few things that help the community. Amazing. Salma, oh my God, Food Bank. She does a lot for the community. It's amazing. Like these
are local women
that do so much
and
good
the
for
list
the community.
is so long.
Yeah.
That's why you're already apologising because
there is such a long list. Then you've got Hasna and Husnara who do amazing. Shanaz Ayub. She's a solicitor. She also presents on the Islam channels. You know,
another local lady.
Amazing. Who am I? Oh, please.
You've got the mayor.
Yes. Naseem Ayub, our former mayor of Luton, is also a committee member. Shazia Afzal, who is
Healthy Minds.
Healthy Minds, and she did the last seminar. Amazing. Please, ladies, don't be upset with me because
They need to WhatsApp and tell us they're listening in, people.
Yes, WhatsApp in. If I don't want to miss anyone, please. Oh my gosh, One Stop Shop, Azra. How can I forget? She does amazing stuff. She's like The CAB, she's like Citizens Advice
fantastic.
Bureau. She helps. She does a one-stop shop for advice and things.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
So there is somebody from all walks of
Yeah.
life in a variety of different professions that are wonderful to network with at this event, sharing their skills,
Yes.
sharing their abilities, and hopefully
Signposting. We're signposting. So there's a lot of people that have attended that want to know how they can get advice on certain things,
Right.
and we've been signposting. We don't have everyone there, but we're pretty certain we know a lot of people where we can at least help in some way.
So, folks listening in, I'm sure are curious to find out how they can attend this event. So, tell us, Khalida,
So,
when is the event happening?
It will be happening Friday, the 21st of June, at Crescent Hall in Luton. Azad, the manager of Crescent Hall, has been amazing. He's given us the venue to host this event, and it's such a lovely venue, really lovely, and set out really well. Just sign in. Eventbrite, we have a link on our Women Connecting Women Facebook group. It's best if you book in through Eventbrite.
Okay.
Only because we want to make sure you have enough food. You have it,
It's
we
all
want
about
to
the
make
food,
sure.
people.
I'm telling you.
Us women and our food.
I'm telling you. We just want to make sure there's enough for everyone.
Fantastic.
Because we're going to be doing quite an interactive seminar. Leanne and Paulina will be hosting a very good seminar, and we want to make sure we've got everything in place for the number of people that are going to be attending. So it's really important that we know the numbers. Last time we had over 100 people.
Okay.
It was amazing. It was a really good
Wonderful.
turnout. So we need to know really numbers, and that's
is
very
this
important.
event free?
Yes.
Free?
And that's another thing.
Fantastic.
Yes. So please come along. It's for women.
Why have you made it free?
So it's accessible to everyone.
Okay.
We want people to learn about what Women Connecting Women do, how we can help, maybe how they can help as well. It's all about community work, and in the future we're looking to expand and do other things with it. And it'd be great to have sponsors on board, because we would love to be able to do things for charity.
Because this was my next question. How are you able to afford an event like this and make it free?
We're self-sustained at the moment,
Okay.
but we are looking for sponsors. We really want to be able to take it out there, even nationally. And in order for us to do that, we do need some sort of funding, and anyone that's willing to help, we're grateful to receive that. But at the moment, we are self-funded, and I think it's a charity in itself. We want to be able to do this. It's something that's, I think, missing in Luton, and I think a lot of the groups that are out there like this, I think they tend to kind of fizzle out because the funding doesn't come in.
Of course, and that's always the thing, isn't it?
It
And,
is.
and times are quite testing as well. I mean, cutbacks.
But it's true. But you know what? Despite that, we're going to keep going. We've got an amazing
Fantastic.
group of women. We're going to make it work no matter what.
I'm loving that vibe.
honestly,
I'm totally loving that vibe. Folks, if you're loving what you're hearing, then you need to send us a message on WhatsApp 07779481822. We're all about women connecting women on the show, and brothers supporting this event too, because Azad, now I need to interview Azad because I'm hearing a lot about him, and he's somebody that kind of initiated this idea to make it happen. So well done to you, brother. So who's listening? Shazia's listening.
Hi, Shazia.
Shazia Afzal's listening from Healthy Minds. Thank you so very much for listening, Shazia. I want to ask you, Shazia, the question I have for all our listeners this morning. What is it that makes somebody beautiful? Tell me in your own words, what makes somebody beautiful? And the reason why we're asking this is because we have somebody who is in the forefront of the beauty industry as a professional freelance makeup artist, but also who is passionate about not just external beauty, but internal as well, by being an educator and mentor, and the co-founder and vice chairperson of Women Connecting Women, enabling women to have a platform, a safe space to come together and sharing their skill set with a new generation of women, I'm hoping.
Yes, it's open to all ages, to be fair. Talking about internal beauty, external beauty, another committee member I almost forgot was Hasna Weaver. She's the founder of Nature's...
So it's a natural.
It's a natural skincare
range.
A range, and I always forget. And she's going to tell me off, but she does natural skincare. She'll be there with her stall, so everyone can see what she does. But
Fantastic.
everything's natural, which is amazing in a world where you've got so many chemicals.
And this is a question I want to ask you, because you know you talked about ethics and you talked about like being an ethical landlord, and we're going to talk about what that means in your own words.
Yeah.
But does that also roll over to you as a makeup artist? And what are the makeup products that you use tested on animals? And I'm going to ask that question.
Do you know what? I try my best. You know, I try my best. But, you know, you have to understand that there's certain products that will only work in certain scenarios.
Okay.
You know, I think the beauty industry needs to actually start stepping it up and be able to provide a lot more of a wider range.
For skin tone as well.
Maybe I should do that.
I think you should. And I want to cut because I announced it on the show. We've got evidence. And you can catch a repeat of the show on the podcast and the repeat at 8 p.m. this evening.
Maybe, but no, you have a point there. There are certain ingredients that, there are... Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it, but not all natural companies can cater to the things that are required to create a look.
The look is quite, it just gets better and better.
It does, and it has to be long wearing.
And that's the pressure.
Yes.
What worries me is the younger wearers. They're getting younger and by the application of makeup. And I watch these videos on YouTube, and there's like 6 different layers of foundation, concealer, highlighter, I don't know what else it is,
I think
on these very young,
this is a trend at the moment, you know.
Those chemicals, do they not impact the skin the older these
I'm
young
going to
people
be
get?
honest with you, I'm not a cosmetologist. I can't really tell you how it's affecting the skin. I just know the creative art, you know. But that's actually, you've made a valid point, and actually that's probably something I'm going to look into now, because it's needed, you know, something that's good for your skin. There are brands out there that are good for your skin, don't get me wrong. They're more, I'd say, for everyday makeup.
Right.
But I have yet to find something that I feel is long wearing and long lasting, and you know, that does the job, but that's really kind to your skin at the same time.
Because it is quite a manipulative industry, and it does impact confidence levels. And there does seem to be a lot of young people who are really quite drawn into this.
Do you know what? I want people to be able to express themselves. A lot of people express themselves through makeup. You know, that's their prerogative.
I saw that whilst I was growing up, and I saw that around me, because there was no other, like, I suppose those, like, my generation listened to pop music, so that's where the influences came from. But there was no pressure. It was up to you. If you wanted to beautify yourself, you would. But I'm really, really glad. I have 3 daughters. They're not interested.
Yeah. And to be fair, I have 2 young daughters, and they're not, like... They're intrigued, but they don't touch my makeup.
Wow, how have you managed to do that?
I think it's because they've grown up around it. It's nothing fascinating. It's just, there's no novelty, you know? So I think I've been lucky in that respect. Maybe later on they might, you know, but then obviously they've got me, and I can kind of help them not to overdo it, maybe.
You're quite natural. You don't wear it yourself. You're very, very natural.
No, I wear makeup, but yes, it's that thing about enhancing and not masking. You know, I try to just bring out, you know, for everyone, even myself, it's about enhancing what someone has, you know. Some people have small eyes, and I show them how they can make their eyes look a bit larger.
And how can you do that?
You could, do you know what?
Apart from wearing glasses with bifocals.
You could put like a nude colour or a white colour eyeliner on the inside of your eyeliner. Instead of putting black eyeliner on, put white, and that just opens up the eye for small, eyed ladies. Or conversely, if you've got large eyes, to make them smaller, you could put black on the inside, and that just makes them look a little bit, you know, darker things make things look smaller, lighter things make things look bigger, you know, highlighting, contouring. So,
and it's quite, and it is an art in itself, isn't it? It is like, it's just phenomenal the way people can change their faces. And the different methods and techniques. And what is the key thing at the moment? Is it caking, baking? What is it? Because I hear these terms. What does that mean?
Okay, well, baking is really when you, once you've applied your makeup, you set the makeup, you set the foundation with a certain powder, loose, translucent powder, and you just put it on for a bit longer. You know, just for a bit longer to help it set. That's basically what baking is, but you put quite quick, and then you dust it off. You don't obviously go out like that.
And it's all about being shiny like a glitter ball.
Yes.
And metallic, like
highlights, yes.
all of that.
Yes, some people are loving that too.
Yeah, it's all going
the trend.
on.
It's all the trend, yes.
It's all going on. We're going to find out any exclusive trends from Khalida straight after the break. We are heading off to a break, and we're asking you, what makes somebody beautiful? What makes somebody glow and be beautiful? Do tell us on 07779481822, and I'll be reading out some of those suggestions straight after the break. Now, I'm still joined by Khalida. If you've got any makeup advice that you'd like, then do text into the studio as well, and we'd be more than happy to make that happen. We're now heading off to a break. Straight after the break, still in conversation with the wonderful Khalida. Join me straight after this. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Atif Nawaz. Listen to Inspire FM shows in your time by heading over to inspirefm.org or listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamaisa.
Assalamu alaikum. It is the final half
The
an hour
following program
of the
is a
Urban
repeat.
Cube with me,
Please do
Shamiza,
not
and
message
the very
or call in.
fabulous Khalida
Any
in the studio
announcements
this
made on the
morning.
program
Now, I've just
may
realised
now
the
not
camera's
be
not on,
applicable.
so we need to have the camera switched on so all of lovely Khalida's listeners and followers can actually see her. And one of them, I believe, is your husband, who's sending you a massive big salams and saying, "Well done, Mrs. Ahmed." I really, really like that. I love it when families support, their family.
Mabs, he is my biggest supporter, I have to say. You know,
Why does he support you? What is it about your work, and how have you been able to gain that balance? Because I think it's really important. I think for people listening in,
we're a team.
Mashallah,
We're a team. That is what marriage is. It's teamwork. You know, you have to bounce off each other, help each other. You know. That's what it is.
Mashallah. Teamwork.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Thank you so much. We're going to hashtag. That's what it is.
I'm telling you.
That's what it is. And thank you so very much, Brother Mahbub, for listening into the show and sending your wonderful wife a shout out. Now, on today's show, folks, I am joined by no other than Khalida.
Khalida. Yeah.
Khalida, let me get that right.
It's so many ways of saying it, but I've grown up being called Khalida, so I'm used to being called Khalida.
So who's been calling you Khalida?
Well, I grew up in a very non-Asian area. So yeah, the name, not everyone can pronounce it the way it was intended to be pronounced, which is fine. So I grew up, with my name being pronounced as Khalida, and so I've always introduced myself as Khalida.
You see, I have an absolute gripe with that. I really feel that if names should be pronounced, if I can pronounce them, because I always get the pronunciations wrong, I'm going to say that. I'm going to, listeners listening will know me making my errors, which are not intentional. Yeah. But I do try and make sure that my children's teachers pronounce the children's names correctly. They don't anglicize the pronunciations because, if you don't tell them, then they're not going to know, and it's not their fault.
But then some people, I hear what you're saying, but some people can't physically pronounce it properly. They find it like they can't, like they can try, but some people can't get the,
Okay.
It's hard for them. So
okay.
They don't mean to be rude about it. I don't think.
As long as you're not offended and you've kind of stuck with that, haven't you? But I'm going to call you Khalida. But it's really Khalida. Let's get that right. Now, folks, the show is the Urban Cube with me, Shamiza, and the wonderful Khalida. It's 11:32, and we have the final half an hour of the show. On today's show, we've been talking about internal and external beauty, and the reason why is because the wonderful Khalida is a not just local but an internationally recognised professional makeup artist extraordinaire who's worked on some phenomenal brand projects, covers for magazines, catwalk, fashion campaigns, but also is a very well-known bridal makeup artist as well. So on today's show, she's joining me not just to share some great makeup tips and advice, but also talking to us about being part of a very, very exciting program, an organization called Women Connecting Women that she's a co-founder and also the vice chair of. And there is an upcoming event, which actually explores health, well-being, nutrition, and fitness on the 21st of June, 6:30 to 9 p.m. at Crescent Hall in Luton. Now, we've been talking about some of the activities that are going to be happening there, but I'm going to let Khalida tell you a little bit more.
Yeah, so, like I said, we're going to have a seminar that's going to be led by Leanne Crisp and Paulina Zalowska. And we're going to have some, hopefully we'll have a little speech from our former mayor, who is also a committee member. And we're going to have a dance performance by Jusna, a Bollywood-themed dance. So, yeah.
And that's to get everybody fit.
Yeah, just to get everyone. Yeah, no, if people want to join in, I'm sure. But she's going to be, performing, so it will be entertaining.
And it is a ladies-only event, folks. Just to make that clear to everybody listening in.
It's all about empowering women. This whole event, and I just feel. This is the era for the women. Honestly, I think women are really standing out, pushing themselves to equal pay and being able to do just as well as men, Don't get me wrong, I love men. There's nothing wrong with men, but I really want women to be out there, stand out on their own true right. It was always this thing where behind every great man was a great woman. Really? Okay. Let's change that a little bit, It's about teamwork. Like I said, it's men and women can help each other grow.
But you're very fortunate, Khalida. You have a very, very supportive husband, mashallah, and you've been able to balance the home. But has it been always plain sailing? Has there been give and take?
Always. Oh my God. It was in the early days, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying it was quite difficult because there's a lot of expectations.
Right.
Because I'm actually Bangladeshi. I know not a lot of people know that. I'm actually. There was a rumor going around that I was Moroccan, and it's probably just because I have curly hair. And I know you can't see me.
This makes me laugh. Why would that be a rumor?
I don't know, but I don't know why that was a rumor. I think people didn't know where my background was from, and I think it's probably because I'm not. I don't know. I can't explain it. There's a lot of people that wouldn't believe that
making assumptions.
They were just because of the way I look, because maybe they have an idea of what a Bangladeshi person looks like, or what different ethnic groups look like, and I didn't fit the stereotype.
Okay.
And so I think
and because you didn't fit the stereotype, I'm being quite pedantic here. Yeah. Did that help you in any way with your work?
I don't know if it helped or hindered or anything. It's just, I am me. I'm not. I don't. When I introduce myself, I don't I don't pigeon myself. I'm Khalida. Take me as Khalida, whatever my background is. I want. I'm an Asian woman, and I really want Asian women to feel empowered and not feel. In the old days, it was about staying in the kitchen, looking after the kids. And those days are long gone. But
we're balancing both, though. We're balancing the kitchen, the children, and the work world.
It's harder for us, I feel, now. And I feel, by empowering women to understand that we have that, we're capable of doing so much, And,
but is it too much? Do you think there's a bit of there could be a burnout? Because we know we can do everything and anything, and
there needs to be a balance. Husbands and partners need to step in. It needs to be, I think, a joint effort. It shouldn't be the woman's in the kitchen doing everything and the man's out doing things and earning. If they're both earning, they should both have equal responsibility.
And that's a beautiful thing I saw across Ramadan. There were lots of posts that was talking about, that brothers should be in the kitchen, helping to wash up, helping to cook as well. So, because the responsibility is always on the woman's head. But it was really nice and very educational to see that, which was really quite inspiring. Folks, if you're listening in, this is the Urban Cube with myself, Shamiza, and Khalida in the studio. And I'm delighted to see the comments on the Facebook page. So Shazi Afzal, thank you for your lovely comments. She's saying, hope you lovely ladies are well, which we are, and hope you are too. Salma Khan says, well done, Khalida.
Thank you.
We've got a message from a Mr. Mehboob Ahmed saying, well done, Mrs. Ahmed. Shazia also says she heard the Inspire Eid event was a great success. Well done. Her family attended, and it was so good that you're accommodating for the community and their needs. And we also got another message. I think Brother Mahmood is totally listening in because he says, "Nice one, Mrs. Ahmed, mashallah." Today's conversation is also around the topic of beauty. What makes somebody beautiful? And Masi Masala has contacted us again, and she says, "I believe if your heart is pure, you shine inside and out, and that is true beauty in itself." Thank you so very much, Syra, for sending that message. And also Shazia has mentioned that beauty is within your inner beauty shines through compassion and gratitude. Compassion and gratitude.
Yes,
that's lovely.
Gratitude. If you're grateful, you can't be anything other than positive. You know?
Right. And positivity is a key thing. When we're not positive, it kind of does impact everything.
It does. The way you look, you know, the way you feel does determine the way you look in a way. If you're happy, you got a smile on your face, you look a lot lighter and brighter.
Right.
When you're sad, your face shows it. You just look, you know, sad and not happy and not approachable, you know?
And you mentioned approachable. That's interesting because people approach you when they feel that they can connect. And it's
if
about
you come across positive, yeah. If you come across open and, you know, willing, you know, straight away, you know, it does make you approachable, right?
Yes,
your
it does.
body language, you know, positivity is key.
And coming back to body language and positivity, I'm feeling that the next generation is more focused on external rather than internal, and they lack communication skills because they seem to be more connected with FaceTime and social media and are lacking those basic skills.
Yeah, social media, I do understand what you're saying. You know, I think it's really important for people to live in the moment. If you're constantly snapping what you're doing minute by minute, are you enjoying the moment?
Right.
Are you really enjoying the moment? Are you too busy trying to show off? Sorry, I'm going to be quite blunt there.
Yeah, be blunt.
That's very controversial in itself. This is a generation, I think, sadly, of people that are trying to show off. I've got this, I've got that. This is my designer hat. You know, don't do that. You know, just be a little bit more real. You know, talk about your emotions. I think people can connect with people that are real. Don't be out there and unattainable. And if you look, you know, like you were saying about people edit pictures. I met someone, she did not look like her pictures, and I was like, what do you think about yourself? What do you actually think about yourself to be able to feel that you have to deceive people?
But that's the pressure of society. That's the pressure of social media, and it's the pressure of likes.
Yes, the pressure of likes, which I'm not too bogged down with, by the way. I want people to know, an aspiring makeup artist or aspiring entrepreneurs, don't get bogged down with the likes. People, if they like what you're doing, they're watching you. Don't worry, you know, they're inspired by you. They might not tell you with the likes, but they're keeping a watchful eye, trust me.
But then this is intriguing, okay, because if they're joining your page, then you know they're observing you. And if they're not liking your page or joining your page, then how do you know who's watching you? It's a very small community. And there does seem to be in the Muslim makeup world, when we see successful women or when young people see successful role model women, they are the hijab bloggers or the makeup artists. And they're the ones with the followers over 1 million, and they're the ones that are invited to events, and they're doing all the group meet and greet. And
great for them. Great for them.
But it's about likes, though. It comes down to that again.
It is, but don't be bogged down with the likes, you know. Don't let that define you. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't live your life. Like, seriously, live your life. Be content.
Okay.
You know, I think it took me a while to get to that stage, and alhamdulillah, I am content. You know, I think...
What was the defining moment? What changed you to change that frame of thinking?
Gratitude.
Mashallah.
Honestly, look... There's so many things you don't have, but there's so many things you do have. Look at the world as a whole. Look how privileged we are to be in this country. You know, we're earning, you know, we're doing things. We're able to push our ideals through to people and make in doing that, we can make the world such a better place. Look at half the world is poor, half the world.
And homeless. And this comes back to your role as a landlord, because you've had some very, very intense experiences with
I'm
tenants.
I'm going to get emotional now.
Okay.
I'm going to get emotional.
Because you were sharing with me about one young lady who was pregnant, a single mother, had nowhere, she couldn't afford the rent, and then you had to kind of help her and support her. And this is one of the reasons why you want to continue providing a roof over the head for
there's a lot of people
tenants
out there that are finding it hard to get onto the property ladder, can't afford it. And you know what? There is going to be a lot of people like that. They will never be able to get onto the property ladder by themselves and own their own property,
or even be able to afford to have anything over their head because they're living on the streets.
It's very sad times. And I think really it's good that I think the government is slowly slowly addressing that. They're making changes.
A UN report is dictating the fact that the UK has a horrific poverty
sadly,
statistic.
It is. And I don't want to keep plugging this, but I do feel it's important to. Do you know what? You have your own values and you have morals. Everyone knows what values are. Everyone knows what morals are. And it's really important to try and stick by a moral compass, moral compass. You're right. There's probably big fat developers that aren't doing things how perhaps the rest of the world would like them to do it, but there are small people or people that are trying to make a difference in a positive way. We had a single mum. Well, actually, she was pregnant at the time. She was single and she was pregnant at the time, and she was really struggling. She knew she was going to be on maternity leave, and she wasn't going to be able to afford what she was. We were able to kind of help her. We came to an agreement. We were able to help her, so it was a win-win. Obviously, you have to understand we're maintaining a house for you. We're making sure the maintenance and that it's a livable, a habitable environment for you. So obviously that comes at a cost. So then we have to be able to, as landlords, strike a balance on what we can do financially. But at the same time, we want to be able to know that we can help you as well. So she was basically, she was struggling. She had a lot of trouble. She was struggling, and we managed to help her get out of trouble. And now she's able to, pay the rent without any issues.
Alhamdulillah.
And she's got a roof over her head. She's never going to be able to have her own place because she doesn't have the skills, or and everyone's different, and I get that, and we're alhamdulillah in a lot more of we're in a different place where we can help people like that. We've worked really hard to get where we have, and it's all been hard work. It's not been handed to us. Well, I've worked very hard over the years to make sure I had clear goals on how I was going to get things done and how I can make an impact. And in order to help people, you have to be able to help yourself. It's very important. You can't help people if you can't help yourself. If you're not in a place where you're stable, you're secure, how can you then help the next person?
And is that stability a financial stability or a mental health stability?
Both. People could be financially stable but mentally ill. It probably goes hand in hand. But then having said that, it would help to have the right people around you, and that's what, I was talking to you about mentoring. I know we haven't touched on that. I'm trying to mentor people into doing things how I see the right way.
Right. And how can people access this mentoring that you do?
Contact me. You can get in touch with me.
And what do you do exactly?
So, I talk through what it is that they want to learn, whether it's, we're talking about the whole property business at the moment. So with that, I'd ask people to get in touch with me and talk to me about what it is they want to achieve. And then we have an idea there on how we can help you, because we tailor a service to different people, and it's all down to what you want, whether you're looking to invest to kind of help yourself so
build a portfolio.
Portfolio building, or savings acceleration, where you can help,
budgeting.
But it's
and will you be having a workshop like that? Because I'm sure a workshop like that would be very much suited to
if there's a demand. Do you know what? If there's a demand for it, I'm happy to have a seminar through Women Connecting Women for people that want to learn about stuff
because
like that.
women are now becoming a lot more independent financially. They
Yes.
have savings. They're able to. They
yes.
get paid a little bit better, even though there is still a pay gap
Yes.
out there.
Yes.
But
But yeah, I'm happy to kind of impart my knowledge and help others, you know. I'm more than happy because I just feel, you know, I know it might be cliched, but we do rise by lifting others. I really do think that, you know, I think that's where the contentment came from. I was like, do you know what? We're in a position, alhamdulillah, where we can help people now, you know? And why wouldn't you? You know, like you get to a point, if you've got everything you want in the world, what is your purpose in life?
Right.
What then do you think, what can I do with myself? That's probably where a lot of people that are quite well off go into depression.
of course.
Because it's like, what else? What is my purpose?
And a lot of them find faith.
Yes.
Because the answers for them then come down to faith, and that's where you learn gratitude.
I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, my faith. That's where my gratitude comes from. Is my faith. You know, yeah. You know, I'm a British Muslim Asian woman. You know, and I think that's what keeps you grounded. If you are like, you have those values, and those values do come from my religion.
Of
really.
course, and Ramadan has been a real faith enhancer and reboot for many people around the world. What a blessing it has been to remind us of the simplicity of gratitude, humility, connecting with those around us. And
and like I was saying, now this woman is absolutely fine. She's able to support herself and her child now, who's a toddler now.
Oh, wonderful.
And doing really well. We're in the process of doing maintenance work on the house because it was over the winter, it wasn't great weather. So there's, you know, we're maintaining it for them, making sure they're in a really lovely environment. But, you know, it's a two-way thing. You know, for us to be able to help you, we need to kind of be able to, you know, get a bit of... You were talking about this as well. What about people that trash your stuff? But you put things in place to make sure that doesn't happen.
Of course.
You know, and that's the other thing. We talk to people and make sure that they're like-minded as well. So we can only really help people that are willing, you know, to take that, you know? So, yeah.
The conversations have been a real roller coaster on today's show, but I'm sure you've enjoyed them as much as I have listening to the fantastic Khalida. Now, Khalida is an extraordinary woman who is using her experiences to reach out to women locally and nationally as part of Women Connecting Women. Today, we've learned that gratitude can clearly make somebody beautiful internally and externally. And we still have a good couple of minutes left on the show. So if you'd like to not catch the conversation, but join in with the conversation, I'm asking you this morning, what is it that makes you beautiful? What key thing makes you beautiful? The WhatsApp to send us a message is 07779 481 822. Now, 21st of June, Friday, Crescent Hall is when a lot of beautiful women who are internally beautiful are going to be coming together to showcase their energy, their passion, their commitment for community values at this very exciting event led by Women Connecting Women. Khalida, let's get that right, is the vice chair of Women Connecting Women, and she's been talking to us about why this event is important for the women across Luton to come. It's a free event, people. Free, women only. Get your glad rags on and your purses. It's a free event, but there's food, a stall, so you can purchase things on stalls.
There's food, there's a seminar, networking.
Right.
Entertainment.
Gosh.
What more can you want?
I know, and it's all happening in Luton.
Actually, ladies, I really want ladies to tell us what it is they want us to provide them, actually.
Good point.
Because we're going to be holding seminars like this every month.
Fantastic.
So literally, us collective of women, we literally get together, we have meetings and we think, right, what we're going to do for our community next, what we're doing next month, what we're going to do the month after. And we're going to have a grand launch in the winter time.
Okay.
Our official launch, as it were. But we're doing a few we had our soft launch, but we're doing a few events leading up to that so that people can get a taste of what it is that we're doing for them, what we want to achieve. And we really want feedback from the community to tell us what they would like from us. What's missing? What is the gap there that you want filled that you want to go to if you want to go to an event, what is it that you're looking for in that event? You tell us,
and what's
we'll
wonderful,
cater it.
It's local. Normally great events happen like in London, but you're actually doing something locally, but the doors are not only open for local but also national folk. They want to attend.
Anyone can attend.
And any faith, any culture.
Yes. It's open to all women.
Okay, fantastic.
We want to bring everyone together.
Wow.
know?
In your own words, Khalida, tell us why listeners should attend this event.
Why should people go to this event? It's going to be a fun-filled event. You get to meet more people, get to maybe, if there's things that you want to learn about, come, meet people, It's open to everyone. If you want to get out the house, come.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women.
Bring your daughters. I think bring your daughters.
Come on, have a night out.
And Eventbrite, very important, because you don't want to exceed the number of attendees.
We have 150 seats.
Okay.
Obviously, if it looks like it's going to exceed that, then obviously we'll try our best to open up more seats for you.
Fantastic.
But please, do book through Eventbrite. And that way we know we can cater to
And your
everyone.
Facebook page?
Women Connecting Women on Facebook, and at WCW Luton on Instagram. And all the information, we have a little brief synopsis of what we're going to cover on the event. So please go onto our page and you'll find all the information there.
Fantastic. Sounds super exciting. We are now heading to the end of the show. So thank you so very much, Khalida, for joining me on the show.
No, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're very welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure. Now you can catch the conversation back on the Facebook Live page that we have on Inspire FM Facebook. We're going to have a podcast that's going up. Repeat is 8 p.m. Also the web as well. So gosh, there's no way you cannot hear this conversation again. Folks, join me next week where I'll be speaking to another fantastic panel of guests who are sharing their creative conversations with you and I. And I'm super looking forward to that. Now, from me and from the very fantastic Khalida, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
And inshallah, don't forget to catch the repeat and do the survey for the Inspire FM Eid. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We stream our daily broadcast on inspirefm.org. You'll find all our daily updates on our social media at Inspire FM Luton.